Hello and welcome. Today we are digging into something that affects all of us, the architecture of modern work. See, technology isn't just a tool we pick up and put down anymore. Oh no, it is the blueprint. It is the foundation. It's the force that is literally redesigning everything about how, where, and why we do our jobs. Let's get right into it. Just stop and think about that for a second. Does your job feel different than it did just a few years ago? The daily rhythm, where you log in from, the very tools you use, have they completely changed? I'm willing to bet that for almost all of you, the answer is a huge yes. The ground is definitely shifting under our feet, and today we're going to look at exactly what's causing it. And this is the key idea right here. We have blown past the stage of just, making old paper processes digital. We are in a brand new era of complete and total redesign. Technology is now the architect. It's deciding how our teams are laid out, how our work actually flows, and what skills we need to even have a seat at the table. It's not an accessory to work, it is the work environment. Okay, so to really get our heads around this huge transformation, we're going to break it down into 4 key areas. First up, we'll talk about place. Yep, the whole remote and hybrid work reality. Then we'll connect that to our output and see how AI is just changing the game. After that, we'll dive into the impact on people. And trust me, the skills shift happening is massive. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a practical guide for what to do next. So let's start with the one we can all see and feel, where we actually get our jobs done. The debate over the office has been loud, to say the least. But when you look at the data, the story is way more interesting than just a simple in versus out. The sheer scale of this change is just staggering. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 35.5 million people in the U.S. were teleworking in early 2024. Let's be clear, this isn't some temporary trend or a fad. This is a deep, structural, and probably permanent part of how we work now. And this gets to the real heart of it. The whole argument about which model is better is kind of missing the point. The much smarter question, the one we all should be asking, is about matching the work design to the work itself. It's about function, not philosophy. And you know what? The evidence completely backs this up. For fully remote, a big study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found call center employees were 13% more productive at home. Makes sense, right? But for more collaborative work, a 2024 study in the journal Nature found a hybrid model slashed the number of people quitting by a third, with zero drop in performance. The risk of forcing one model on everyone? Well, a study of Microsoft employees showed that going fully remote actually created silos. The lesson is crystal clear. You have to design for the task. All right, on to the next major architect shaping our world, artificial intelligence. This stuff is redesigning not just where we work, but the actual nature and the volume of what we can produce. AI is no longer sci-fi. It's a daily tool for millions, but what's its real impact? Just look at this chart from that same NBR study. It is absolutely stunning. A generative AI assistant boosted productivity for customer support agents by 14% on average. That's great, but look at the novice workers, a massive 34% boost. AI isn't just helping experts. It's a powerhouse training tool that helps new people perform like they've been there for years. It's a true capability amplifier. But here comes the reality check. While almost everyone is playing with AI, a McKinsey survey found 88% of organizations are using it somehow. The real transformation isn't quite there yet. Only about a third have actually managed to scale it across their company. So there's this huge gap between trying a tool and actually rebuilding your business around it. So why is it so hard to scale? Well, it usually boils down to one word: data. The AI is powerful, sure, but it's like a Ferrari. It's only as good as the fuel you put in it. That same McKinsey research found that 70% of even the best companies using AI still run into major data problems. So the real work isn't just turning on a chatbot. It's cleaning up your data, setting up rules, and redesigning your workflows from the ground up. Okay, let's take a quick pause. We've covered a ton on place and output. If you're finding this breakdown valuable, do not forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with our content. Now, let's get to what might be the most important piece of this entire puzzle. We've talked about place and output, but honestly, none of that matters without the people. This whole technological redesign is kicking off a massive, once-in-a-generation shift in the skills we need to do our jobs, and the scale of this thing is, well, it's something else. Just let these numbers from the World Economic Forum sink in. By 2030, technology is going to help create 170 million new jobs while getting rid of 92 million others. But the number that really gets me is this last one. 39% of the core skills for the average job are expected to change. That means almost 4 out of every 10 skills you use right now will need to be updated or just flat out replaced. And employers are really feeling the heat on this one. You want to know the single biggest thing holding them back from transforming their companies? It's not a lack of technology. It's not a lack of money. For 63% of them, it's the skills gap. They simply can't find or build the talent they need to make their big plans a reality. This isn't some far-off problem. It is the challenge of right now. So here's what that looks like on the inside. For every 100 employees, leaders expect that 29 of them will need serious upskilling just to keep up, and another 19 will need to be completely reskilled for a totally new role in the same company. You add that up, that's almost half the workforce needing major development. We are talking about human adaptation on a colossal scale. So we've seen the redesign of place, of output, and of people. It can feel like a lot. But the good news is, the data also points to a pretty clear and practical agenda for anyone trying to navigate this new world of work. So let's break down the 4 essential steps. Here they are, the 4 key actions. Number 1, design by task. Just stop the ideological fights and match the work model to the work itself. Simple. Second, target your AI. Don't just sprinkle it everywhere like magic dust. Focus it where you can actually measure the impact. Third, build governance from day one. You have to set the rules for your data, for risk, for human oversight before you try to scale. And fourth, and this might be the most important, reskill at scale. Training isn't a little HR project anymore. It has to be treated as core business infrastructure, just like your servers or your software. And that really brings us to the ultimate takeaway. Winning in this new era, it's not about who has the fanciest software or the coolest office perks. The organizations that are going to lead are the ones that can weave all 3 of these threads together, technology, workflow, and people, into one single coherent operating model. It is a systems-level challenge, and that's the bottom line. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question. Looking at all this, the redesign of place, output, and people, what is the single biggest change that you are personally preparing for, either in your career or in your organization? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're all navigating this new architecture of work.